Welcome to the class. Last day, we are talking about main subtopics. Can you remember? Under introduction of the business studies, last day we learned very important subtopics. First one, we discussed characteristics of the business, right? After that, we discussed aims of the business, right? And then we discussed stakeholders of the business, right? Main three important subtopics, right? Characteristics of business, then aim of the business, third one, stakeholders of the business. This one we completed, characteristics of the business, right? Can you remember? Aims of the business also completed. We just start the stakeholders of the business, right? Characteristics of the business. Can you remember that we talking about the common characteristics that we can see in the business? You know, world different kind of businesses. They have different characteristics, right? In here we discuss in general characteristics, right? Common characteristics that we can see every business, right? Then aims of the business. What are the aims of the business? We discuss this also. Before moving to this topic, I would like to explain briefly these two topics for your convenience, right? We briefly look today also. We briefly discuss characteristics of the business, aim of the business. Then we go to the detailed discuss of the stakeholders of the business, right? I will share my screen. Still sharing. Still sharing. I think now you can see, right? What we learned last day, characteristics of the business. Right. First one, economic activity. Business characteristic. First one is economic activity. Then we can see sales, transfer or exchange, continuous process, profit motive, risks and uncertainties, creative and dynamic, satisfaction of customers, social intrusion, government control, optimum utilization of resources. Right? We discuss these characteristics. Commonly, every business that we can see these characteristics. Right? When you learn about the business, you should have great knowledge about the characteristics of the business. Right? Then economic activity. Actually, what is business doing? Right? Business involving production and distribution and goods and service for the satisfaction of customer want. You know, people have needs and wants. What business do? They offer the product to the market to satisfy human needs and wants. Right? Very first day we learn these things, right? Business, as a business concept. Then every business has to do production and distribution of goods and services, right? And the main characteristics of the business, right? Then we go to the next one, sales, transfer, or exchange, right? Another characteristics of the business, right? Buying and selling of goods and services for a price are the essence of a business, right? Selling, buying and selling goods or services, right? Main characteristics of the business, right? Today I will explain briefly because last day we discussed these things in detail, right? Then next one, process, right? Business activity must be continuous. Usually, no business activity is set up for liquidation after single transaction. For example, uh, the person sell the used bike for another person. Just only one transaction. After that transaction, no any other activities. Therefore, it is not a business. If it is business, there should be a continuous process. Continuous process, right? Buying and selling, right? A lot of transactions continuously occur in a business, right? Only one single transaction is not the business, right? Then we move to the next one, profit motive, right? The aim of the businesses is earning profit, right? Primary objective of the business is earn profit and also adequate acquire wealth, right? Business that does not earn profit cannot survive for long term period, right? Business has to earn profit to continuous running the business, right? Therefore, profit motive is the main characteristics of the business, right? Then we move to the next one, risk and uncertainties. Business has always faced to risks and uncertainties. Businesses are subject to risks and uncertainties, right? Some risks can be forecast. We discussed in detail last day and ensure, right? Fire, flood, thieves, terrorist attack, natural disasters. Right? When you analyze the past data, right, the expertise forecast the risk, right? Uncertainties cannot be forecast, right? Ensured, right? Losses in demand, change in the customer attitudes, change in the economic conditions, right? Cannot forecast, right? Then these two conditions business has to face. Therefore, this is all the businesses, right? Or commonly, we can identify these two characteristics, risks and uncertainties, right? Then creative and dynamic. Next one, right? Business dynamic in nature. Right? You can see that business operate in a dynamic environment, always changing environment. Right? Social change, social norms change, fashion trend, economic condition, you know, the customer behavior, customer attitudes, all are day, every time changing, right? Therefore, we call business is dynamic in nature, right? Business has to some kind of program or strategies to respond the changing environment, right? Therefore, business has to be dynamic in order to respond those changing environment, right? In other hand, business must be creative. Right? Business produce goods and service to satisfy the human needs and wants. If business can do creatively, right, then business demand goes up, right? Therefore, creative and dynamic is one of the main characteristics of the business, right? Then we move to the next one, satisfaction of customers. Right? The main characteristics of the business is satisfaction of the customers, right? Customer is the main key stakeholder of the business. Without the customers, cannot survival. No, business exists to satisfy the needs and wants of the customer for their product through economic pricing, better quality, and quick service. Satisfaction of customer is very important, right? Providing quality goods, uh, after sales service, uh, economic pricing, right? Providing better service. Business can satisfy the customers. The customers satisfy with business product and service, then again and again customer come to the business, right? Then this is all every business commonly we can see uh, they plan to satisfaction of customer. They're concerned about the satisfaction of customer because this is the very important for the survival and growth of the business, right? Then next one, social institution. Business doing the business operations with interact with the people's organizations for people's, right? Interact with those social institutions, right? Therefore, we can say all the business organizations are open system, right? Interconnected with other social groups, right? Existing in the external environment, right? Business cannot do anything isolated, right? Business has to go to the society, go to the people, right? Interact with them, interact with other business organizations and social group. Therefore, we can say every business is social institution. Then we move to the next one, government control. Every business has to comply with the government rules, regulations, guidance, and guidance, right? Government control is the main characteristics of the business, right? Then we can say in the field of business, government play the role of regulating by formulating various acts and policies. Government intended to protect the welfare of the customer, investors, creditors, employers, right? Then government involvement in the field of business is has to pay every business. Government involvement. Then business has to comply with government rules, regulations, gazette notifications, right? Business has to comply or response, right? Violating the gazette notifications, rules and regulations, then cannot survive, right? They have to pay some legal cases, right? Then legally, business want to listen to the government's rules, regulations, right? Policies, right? Then optimal utilization of resources. Business use the resources to produce good and service to satisfy human needs and wants. In nature, resources is uh, scarcity. Resources scarcity. Lack of resources when compared to the limited resources when we compare with the human wants. What business do? Business do maximum utilization of the resources to produce good and service, right? Then we can say business utilization all the resources such as men, material, machinery, labor, and capital to produce goods and services, right? These are the characteristics of the business, right? The summary, in summary, right? Keep in mind these things, right? In your exam case studies, right? Other MCQ question will be given in this topic because this will be tested whether business studies student know about the characteristics of the business, right? Okay. Right. In addition to my explanation, read the notes carefully, right? When you read the notes after the explanation of this explanation, you will be comfortable with these topics, characteristics of the business, common characteristics. Every business, we can see these characteristics, right? Different business in the world, they have different characteristics. we here talking about the common characteristics of the businesses, right? Then aim of the business. What are the aim of the business, right? Why businesses are started and running? What are the purpose, aims, right? First one is survival. Every business wants to survival in the market, right? First of all, we have to survive as a business entity. First, we have to survive, right? Survive, right? Aims of the business. Aims of the business also vary business to business. Aims of the business vary depending on the nature of the business, right? Nature of the owners, right? Aims of the business depending on the business nature and the owners, on the owners. We are discuss common aims, common aims of the business. First one is survival. Survival, right? First of all, we have to survive in the market, right? After survival, we can look at the other aims, right? For survival, what we can do, right? Survival, what we can do, right? This is prime aim, survival. Survival, we can do earn sufficient money to cover the cost, right? Earn sufficient money to cover the cost. In this aim, we are not thinking about the profit, right? We are thinking only the cost covering, right? At least cover the operational cost. If you can cover the operational cost, you can continue the business. After that, we can think about the other aims. Very first one, right? Prime aim is survival, right? Uh, then business can cover the operational cost. Business can continue their operations. After that, they can thinking about the other aims. Aims number 2, profit maximization. Profit maximization. Profit maximization. Every business want to earn in profit, right? Without earning profit, long-term survival is questionable, right? They have to earn as much as profit, right? Maximizing profit also. Maximizing profit. They have to earn as much as possible profit. Then survival. After survival, business can aim on the profit maximization, right? Then third one, profit satisfaction. Profit satisfaction, right? Even business fail to profit maximize, right? It would be closed down. It would be not closed down. The business is not profit maximization. Business not closed down. Even profit lesser than the maximization profit, business can continue, right? Then profit satisfaction. That means business has to earn some kind of profit, right? Profit satisfies, right? Owners of the business is satisfied with the profit. It is okay, right? This is the another aim of the business, right? Right. Then fourth one. Last day we discussed these things in detail. Today, we are going to discuss a summary, right? Then market entry. Fourth one, market entry. Market entry, right? We are talking about the market entry, right? Then fifth one, sales maximization, right? Business aim to enter the market, right? Right? Then sales maximization. Somehow aim to increase their sales as much as possible, right? Then increase in market share. Increase in market share, right? Every business aims to increase the market share and become the market leader. Become the market leader, right? Right. Then next one is we can see uh, number 7, improving the sales turnover. Improving sales turnover. Improving sales turnover, right? Improving sales turnover. Then final one is growth, right? Business aim to ensure their growth, right? Get the benefit uh, of growth, right? When a business is large scale, what happens? It can economize on certain cost. It can economize in certain cost, right? This is called economies of scale. Growth of a business also help to attract investors and employees and workers. Growth. Therefore, business into continuous growth, right? These are the aims of the business, right? Then we move to the next topic. What is the topic? Right. Stakeholders of the business. Who are the stakeholders of the business? Right? Why stakeholders are important to the business? Right? We are going to learn that. Right? You can see that business working with social group. Right? We learned that business is social institution. Right? What is the meaning of stakeholders? Why they interested on business activities? Right? What are the influence that they can do to the business? Right? It is important. Is it important to identify the stakeholders and their objectives? We're going to discuss uh, about the discussions, right? Stakeholders of the business are those individuals and groups that are affected by activities and performance or behavior of the business, right? Business is here. This is business, right? What they do? Activities, right? Activities, right? For activities and performance, right? Or behavior, activities, performance, or behavior, right? Effect, effect, to others, right? To others, maybe individuals, right? Maybe group of people, right? Effect business activities, performance or behavior, effect to individuals or groups, right? Those those individuals and groups we call stakeholders. Stakeholders, stakeholders, right? Of the business. Stakeholders of the business, right? Uh, business do some activities, performance, and behavior in the society. Right? We know that business is the social institution. Then their activities, performance, and behavior affect to individuals and group of people, groups, right? We call those individuals and groups stakeholders. Stakeholders, right? Is it important to identify the individuals and groups uh, affected by the activities and behavior of the business? It is important because these individuals and groups respond to business activities, performance, and or behavior. Therefore, identify the stakeholders is very important, and also objective of the stakeholders, right? And their influence, right? The influence level is very important to identify, right? You have to manage, satisfy your stakeholders. Business has to manage and satisfy the stakeholders. Then only we can achieve our objective. Without considering the objective of the stakeholders, very difficult to run the business, continue the business activities. Because individuals and groups of people concerned, interested on business activities, performance, or behavior, right? Therefore, we have business has to identify the who are our stakeholders, what are the objective of the stakeholders, type of influence stakeholders can do to the business. It is important to identify, right? Therefore, in your syllabus include this part as a beginner of the business studies subject. This is very important. Without satisfying the or considering about the stakeholders' objective, desire, willingness, business cannot continuously do the business, right? Continue to do the activities, right? Their response, they influence to the business. Therefore, we have to business has to good plan, good strategies to satisfy, right? Stakeholders, right? Now you can see those individuals and groups affected by the activities, performance, or behavior of the business we call stakeholders, right? Right. We move to the detailed discussions of the stakeholders. Then our business has to identify the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? It is differ from business to business, right? It is differ from business to business, right? Commonly, we can identify uh, 10 different types of stakeholders. 10 different types of stakeholder. Every business we can identify these stakeholders, right? Right. First, owners. Owners. Owners, the first stakeholders, right? Owners of the business. Why? Behavior, performance, and also activities affected to the owners, right? Later we uh, look at the objective of the owners. Why owner interested in business activity? We'll discuss in later. Now you keep in mind stakeholders. First one is owners, then suppliers, suppliers, investors, right? Creditors, right? Communities, communities, right? Next one, we can see trade union, seventh, employees, right? Government. Government means government and government agencies, right? Customers, customers, right? Then we can say others, any individual or group who are interested in business, we can say others. Mainly we can identify these uh, uh, stakeholders, right? In addition to that, we can say managers, uh, board of directors, also the stakeholders, right? Uh, okay, owners, suppliers, investors, creditors, communities, trade union, employers, government, customers, other parties we can identify as stakeholders, right? Okay, this all those things included in our tunes. Read it well. Then we move to the further discussion about the stakeholders. Stakeholders, right? As generally we can categorize into three parts, right? Right. Internal, and external. All the stakeholders we can categorize into two parts: internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. Then another classification: primary stakeholders, primary and secondary. Secondary. Other classification: direct stakeholders and indirect stakeholders. Is this important to identify like this? Yes, important. Some stakeholder when you transaction with stakeholders, when you react with stakeholders, these are very important. Whether it's internal stakeholders or external stakeholders, whether stakeholders or primary stakeholder or secondary stakeholder, whether the stakeholder is direct stakeholder or indirect stakeholders. That's very important to identify, right? Internal stakeholders are stakeholder that exists inside the business. Inside the business. Inside the business. Inside the business. Internal stakeholders. Right? Inside the business. Stakeholder directly affect to the businesses. Right? Then externally stakeholders. Outside the business. External stakeholders are those who have interest in business success of the business but not have a direct application with the business organization. Suppliers for suppliers, external. Outside the business, external stakeholders. Right. Then another classification we identify primary stakeholders, also known as key stakeholders. Key stakeholders, primary stakeholders. Right. They have highest level of interest of the outcome of the business. They are directly affected to the outcome. They actively contribute to the business. Primary stakeholders. Then we can identify secondary stakeholders. Here, secondary stakeholder also help the activities of the business, right? We'll closely look at example in next topic, right? Then we can identify direct stakeholders. Direct stakeholders means day-to-day activities with the business. They involve direct stakeholder involve day-to-day activities of the business, right? Employers we can identify as the direct stakeholder, right? They involve daily tasks, right? On the other hand, indirect means they pay attention of the performance of the business, not involved in the business activities. Indirect stakeholder, right? If you interact with the stakeholders, you have to have this knowledge, internal or external. You have to check, you have to consider the stakeholder is internal or external, or primary stakeholder, or secondary stakeholder, or direct stakeholder, or indirect stakeholder. Based on the categorization, your response is differ. Your strategic plan differ from based on these types, right? Then we look at the owners of the business. Owners of the business. First stakeholder is owners of the business. You know who are the owners of the business? The business owners invest the money, right, to the organization, right? Supply capital or equity to the business. We call it owners. Owners. Owners means owners, stakeholders are the owners of an organization, right? They supply capital and equity to the business and have say in how everything runs, right? There can be multiple owners at a business, right? Each owner would have equity in the business, right? They provide capital or equity to the business, right? Their money, we call this owners, right? They are the main stakeholders of the business, right? Then you can see that owners we can identify as internal stakeholders. Internal stakeholders. Stakeholder. Owner in the business. Internal stakeholders. Owners. Then primary or secondary stakeholder. Primary stakeholder, right? then directly involved with the business activities. Direct stakeholders. You can see that how importance of the owners, internal stakeholders, primary stakeholders, key stakeholders, and directly involved in the business policy decisions, right? Direct stakeholders. Then another question: why owners of the business concerned about the business activities? What is the purpose of the owner, right? What is the purpose of the objective of the owners, right? Stakeholder owner, internal stakeholder, primary stakeholder, direct stakeholder. We identify. What is the objective of the owners? Owners want a business to be profitable and successful. Objective of the owners is ensure the profit, right? Whether business earn adequate profit to their investment, right? Then objective of the owners is want to business to be profitable, right, and successful, right? What is the influence owners do into the business? Influence. Owners are take decision on the activities of the business. That's why we call it primary stakeholder, right? Owners take the decision on the activities of the business as well as control of the business. Therefore, owners is primary stakeholder. In other hand, directly involved with business policy making. Therefore, direct stakeholder. In other hand, internal stakeholder. Right? Okay. Right. Then, what is the objective of the owner of the business as a stakeholder? Owners want to business to be profitable and successful, right? Profitable and successful, right? Then we move to the other stakeholder. Managers of the business. Who are they? Internal stakeholder. Managers in the business. All right. Internal stakeholder. Another primary, not secondary. Primary stakeholder. Primary stakeholder. Directly involved with the business activity. Direct stakeholder. Right? Direct stakeholder. We can say direct stakeholder. Right. Why managers are interested on the business activities? Managers are interested in their salaries, power, promotion, as well as success of the business. Managers are interested on the business. Check whether their decision activities and decision makings are successful, and also their promotion, right? And the power, right? As well as salary. Therefore, they interested on the business activities, right? Level of influence. Managers are the responsible for planning activities of the business and for its day-to-day running. Though those activities, they have influence over the business. Managers are the person who planning activities and implement activities of the business, right? Okay, owners, then managers, right? Objective of the managers is to ensure, check whether their decision making are successful or not, right? ensure their salaries, promotions, right? Power, right? As well as success of the business. Therefore, they are interested on the business activities, right? Influence is they are the persons who planning, responsible for planning the business activities uh, to run the business, right? Therefore, we can say managers, internal stakeholders, primary stakeholders, directly involved in the with the business activities, direct stakeholders, right? Okay. Then employees, employees. Employee is also important stakeholders of the business, right? We have to closely look at the characteristics of the employees, right? Employees have direct stakeholders of the business, right? Internal stakeholder. Then primary stakeholder, direct stakeholder. We can say employee have a direct stake in the business. They interact directly with the customers, earn money to the support themselves, right? And give the support to the business operation as well. Employees, right? Employees carry out the managerial, supervisory, or other functions. They typically expect the benefit like incentives, career growth, job satisfaction, right? Job satisfaction, right? Then you can see employees also internally in the business, primary key stakeholder, then the directly involved in the business activities, right? Therefore, we can identify the employee as the internal stakeholder as well as primary stakeholder directly involved in the business activities. We can say direct stakeholders, right? Very important to identify these things because uh, the objective of the stakeholders and their response, their influence, and also their power is very important to identify to the business to make decision on these stakeholders. It's not easy task to satisfying the fulfill the stakeholders requirement, right? Different stakeholders have different uh, objectives, right? Anyway, run the business should have some proper plan to address the stakeholders, right? They business has to give the adequate information to them, awareness them, right? Closely look at their requirement. Then only we can continue the business without any trouble. Then you can see that other main step, employers, then trade union, uh, also the stakeholders, trade union, the collections of the group of the employees, right? Get together and they form the unions, right? You can see that trade union has a more power. Trade union, also called a labor union, is an organization of workers in a particular industry or business that exists to secure good improvement in pay, benefit, safe working conditions, or social and political status through the collective bargaining. They get together, uh, secure their jobs, payment, benefits, safe working condition, and social and political status, right? Then this is also very important. You can see that in practically trade union play major role in the businesses, right? Then we have to closely look at their objectives and influence level, type of influence and power to manage the stakeholders. Trade union. Every business generally has relationship with the trade union to keep the interest of the other stakeholders, like employees, right? If you satisfy trade unions' objectives, the automatically employers also satisfied, right? Trade union may be informed and consulted about the thing like worker safety. Trade unions involved in the some extent decision making process. If they are, when we do something in the business, new things, then trade union give their opinions, right, and information about that particular activity, right? Trade union we can identify as the external uh, stakeholder. Secondary and indirect. Trade union, external stakeholders. Although workers in the business, the trade union organization, we consider as the external stakeholders. Secondary, right? Not directly involved in the business activities. Trade union, no. Employees involved, therefore employees we consider as the primary stakeholders. Trade union we consider as secondary stakeholders. Trade union not directly involved in the business activities, right? They indirectly involved in the business activities, right? Give their ideas, give the proposals to the top management, right? Right? Criticize the business activities. They can do it. They are right now, right? Then indirectly involved in our business activities, right? Then what is the purpose of, what is the objective of the trade union? Right? Is the objective is ensure the employees right in the business, right? Influence, influence is high because trade union decision and action highly affect the businesses. Then therefore we have to identify that what are the trade union, what are their objectives, and we have to good relationship with the business has to good relationship with the trade unions, right? Good mutual understanding about the trade union and businesses, then we can continue the business without any trouble. Otherwise, their response, right? The influence of the business, right? It is effect to the performance of the businesses. Therefore, very important stakeholders is trade union. Right. Then we move to next one. Communities. 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 Right. Community also interested on the business activities. Right? Community is in which business function can be considered as another set of stakeholders. Good businesses are considered as assets for the community. Right? Communities are major stakeholder in businesses because each party are mutually beneficial in different ways than they say suppliers and our business, right? The communities are attention on the business activities, right? Environmental pollutions, right? The community alert on the whether business consider the environmental protection, right? If the business doing some environmental pollutions, then community responds to it. Therefore, we have to think about if you do some activity, we have to think about what is the community response, right? Environmental pollutions, right? Social business has to consider the community norms, social norms, religious norms, cultural norms, right? If the business go against those environmental protection, cultural norms, religious norms, then what happened? Community response to the business. Therefore, we have to get good awareness of the community objectives, community norms, cultural and social characteristics. We have to business has to consider, right? Okay. Community are impact by things like jobs creation, safety, economic development, health, right? Environmental development, right? Right? Community alert on the community consider that whether businesses are doing with the environmental friendly, right? That means business not do anything to harmful to the environment, right? Community are considered whether business doing the business activities uh, with the environmental friendly manner. Business going to do something to the something harmful to the environment, then community, then public response to it, right? Therefore, business have to carefully uh, study the community's desire, community's norms, community culture, all the things, right? You can see that if the community makes sure that business is environment and friendly, right? They respect to the social values, then the community supports the business. Otherwise, community goes to against the business, right? We can say that community is external, no, not in the business, outside the business. Okay? Secondary stakeholder, then indirect, not directly involved in the business activity. Indirect, not directly involved in the business activities. Community. Anyway, community is very important uh, stakeholders. Without considering community desire or community objective, very difficult to run the business. The community is interested in environment and social issues such as pollution and noise, right? Environmental, they are wanted to business to act in responsible manner, right? Social responsible. Community expect from the business that the business they wanted to business to act in responsible manner, right? What are the influence? Members of the community can influence the business by organizing pressure groups. The community organize the pressure groups, right? Community may also exert influence as customers and consumers. Community in the community, customers and suppliers, consumers included. Then they can influence in more to the business. Therefore, satisfying community, consider about the community as a stakeholders is very important. You can see that when we, especially in the projects in Sri Lanka, right? Community response regarding the environmental issues, the central highway, right? When we build the highway in Sri Lanka, the lot of communities influence or response against the project because of environmental issues. Then what happened? the business has to change the project or stop the project, right? Therefore, when you plan the project, right, first of all, you have to have a stakeholders analysis, stakeholders management plan. Really, you have to identify the stakeholders, these are stakeholder interest, stakeholders, community interest, community norms, community values, right? Cultural and social norms and values. Business should have to identify. Business has to do activities according to the social norms and environmental friendly way of environmental friendly. Otherwise, community response, right? It is not good for the business because business is social institution. Without people, without social groups, without individuals, business cannot survive well. Then community include the customers, consumers, all the other uh, stakeholders also include in the community, right? Then you have to identify the objective of the communities, satisfy that objective. Then only we can continue the business, right? What are the others stakeholders, right? We closely look at we can identify the other stakeholders also. Employees we discuss, and also government. Government, government is also uh, stakeholder. They also considering about the business activities, business behavior, right? Right. Government can also be through as a merger stakeholder in a business, right? They collect taxes from the businesses, right? Right. They business try to ensure customer, consumers' right, employers' right. Then it is understandable. No? Government is external stakeholder. External stakeholder. No problem. No? External stakeholder, obviously. Then secondary stakeholder. Indirect, not directly involved in the business activities, but indirectly influenced the business. Indirect. You can see that government play the major role in the business industry. We have to consider. We have to uh, look the government policies, right? Government policies, right? Government is interested in including economic growth. When we government making policy making, they need consider about the business performance, right? Then government is interested in including economic growth, protection of customers. As I said earlier, protection of customers, employees, and society. The government objective is common objective. Give the better life to the people of the country. Government objective is broader, right? Ensure the well-being of the human, people of the country. Then government also interested in all the business activities, right? Right. Government's main target is to development, economic growth, right? Protection the people. Then government also interested in the business activities. Government influence business by implementing laws, regulations, policies, right? On matter of concern, right? Therefore, business had to identify that government as the stakeholder, external stakeholders, not internal stakeholders. Then secondary, right? Not the key stakeholders, but we have to consider not directly involved in our business activities, but they indirectly involve the activities effect to the our business. Therefore, government also uh, very important stakeholders, right? Okay, then we move to the next one, right? Now you have idea about each and every stakeholders, no? Whether direct or indirect, primary or secondary or internal or external. That's important. That's important to identify the this type that is described earlier to make decision on the stakeholders, right? Then we move to the next one, very important. Stakeholders and shareholders. What is the difference between stakeholders and shareholders, right? A stakeholder has a vested interest on our business or project. This type of stakeholder does not typically have a financial stake in our business, right? Shareholders, shareholder has financial interest in a business or a project. Often, shareholders is a partial owner, right? Therefore, stakeholder under stakeholder, shareholders also the stakeholder. All the shareholders also is stakeholder of the businesses, right? Difference. There's a difference, right? Stakeholders mean shareholders means owners of the business, right? Then is stakeholder of any business, right? Get the idea about that. Not the same, different, right? Once again, we look at the what are the stakeholders. Stakeholders are the individuals, businesses, or organizations that have some connection to the business, right? Uh, they have various interests and influences in the business, right? And also interact with it somehow, right? Then we identify that internal external stakeholders. Who are the internal stakeholders? Internal stakeholders also called primary stakeholders, right? Internal stakeholders. Internal stakeholders. We can say primary stakeholders, right? Then we are going to identify the internal stakeholders. Internal stakeholders. Who are the internal stakeholders, right? First one, owners. Owners of the business. Owners of the business, internal stakeholder. Then managers, internal stakeholders. Employees in the business, right? In business, the internal stakeholders are the investors, right? In the business, owners of the business, managers and employees, right? We can say internal stakeholders, right? Right. Next, we look at the external stakeholders. Who are the external stakeholders, right? Internal owners managers, employees, investors also we can classify under internal. As internal stakeholders, then external. Others stakeholders are external, customers, outside parties, not in the business. Local community, creditors, suppliers, government, external stakeholders, right? Very important. All the details and the notes include your tutorial. Refer it, right? With this explanation, get the idea about the subject matter, then read it. Keep in mind the definitions, classifications, right? Other things, right? Then we go to the next topic, right? Right. What are the difference between internal stakeholders and external stakeholders? Right? It is better to identify the differences, right? Differences, right? Role, role of the business, right? Role. Internal stakeholders, internal, external. Role of the business, part of the business, part of a business. The internal stakeholder, part of the business. External, not part of a business. Maybe part of the other companies, right? Right? Kind of, right? Kind of influence, influence, influence. Internal, direct influence. External stakeholders has indirect influence. All the things included in your tutorial, refer it, right? Then information available, internal information, internal information. Here, public information, right? Information. What we are doing, we are identifying the difference between internal stakeholders and external stakeholders, right? Role of the business is part of a business. External stakeholders, not a part of a business. Influence, direct, internal stakeholders. External stakeholders, indirect influence. Internal stakeholders has internal information. External stakeholders has public information, right? There's a difference between internal stakeholders and external stakeholder. Role. Internal stakeholder has a part of a business. External stakeholders are representative of external companies, external businesses, right? Then we can see the next one. Type of influence. Internal stakeholders directly influence its resources, process, result. Internal stakeholders directly influence resources, process, and results of the business. External stakeholders here have an indirect influence on the business, right? Then we can go to the next one. Interest. Internal stakeholders are directly interested in a business since they are immediately affected by its activities, right? External stakeholders have an indirect interest in the business. They also have an interest in some competitors, right? The next one, information available. Internal stakeholders have direct access to the internal business information about decision, process, performance. External stakeholders can have only the limited access to such information, right? Right. You can see the differences. These are very important. Internal stakeholders, external stakeholders. I told you that from the beginning. Understanding about the stakeholders is very important, right? Characteristics of the stakeholders and also objective of the stakeholders, influence, type of influence of the stakeholders, and also power of the stakeholders. Business should identify before making decision on the stakeholders, right? Why? They are social individuals and social groups. Their response to the business activities, performance, or behavior, right? Then, how to manage internal stakeholders and external stakeholders. We learn about the stakeholders. Now we are going to learning about the control and management of the stakeholder, right? It's not easy, right? First step, we have to identify the external and internal stakeholders, right? Management of stakeholders. Next topic. How to manage stakeholders. To manage stakeholders, what we should do. First one, we have to identify the stakeholders. Stakeholders. Identify the stakeholders, right? We have to separate the stakeholders as internal or external, right? Right? According to influence, right? You have to identify stakeholders, internal stakeholder, external stakeholder. Then there are type of influence you have to identify. The power of the external stakeholders you have to identify, right? Right. Then define degree of importance of each of stakeholders. Define, define, right? The degree of importance of stakeholders. To define the degree of importance of each stakeholder, right? Right? This is the second one. Identify, define the importance of the stakeholders. As I told you earlier, it is important to identify the stakeholders, then define the degree of importance of the stakeholder. Then we have to identify what problem affect each stakeholder. There's the strategy, address the alternative. Then we have to identify the effect of each stakeholders, right? Right. Identify the stakeholders, define that they are degree of importance of the stakeholder, then the influence of the stakeholders, right? The power of the stakeholders we have to identify, right? Then we can discuss like this. You can see that. This type influence of the stakeholder, influence of the stakeholder. This side we can take importance, right? Importance. This high, low, this low, high, right? Influence, importance, right? Likewise, we have to insert our stakeholders to this matrix, right? This matrix, right? Influence and importance of the stakeholders. Then you insert this matrix to your stakeholders. It's differ from business to business, right? This is different business to business, right? Influence high, importance also high. Include here, right? Influence is low, importance is high. Include here, right? Influence also low, importance is also low. Include here, right? That's the then you have to categorize your stakeholders based on influence and importance, right? Based on influence and importance, right? This is the matrix to we can use for identify the influence of and the importance of business stakeholders. You can see that this is different. This is different to business, right? Project to project. But we can use this technique to correctly identify the stakeholders, influence and importance. You know, board of directors maybe high influence, high importance, right? High influence, high importance, right? Comparative, right? Comparatively, then employees very important. Employees very important, but influence is low with compared to the board of directors, right? Likewise, you can categorize. This is differ from business to business. And, first, we have to identify and analyze the importance and influence level of the each and every stakeholders. Include the stakeholder with high degree here of influence and importance. High degree of influence and importance we include here, right? This was here, this number one. Number two, include stakeholder with high degree of importance, right? Low influence, right? Here we include stakeholders with low importance and influence. Here, low importance, low influence, right? This side we include number four, stakeholder with high degree of influence but low importance. For example, some cases government and local communities may be there. Influence is the government influence is high. The importance for the business is low, right? It is depends on the nature of the business, but you have to use this matrix to clearly identify the influence and the importance of the stakeholders. Right, I think that you have good knowledge about the stakeholders, right? And the importance of the stakeholders, influence of the stakeholders, right? Management of the stakeholders. This matrix you can use to identify and manage the stakeholders, right? Under the chapter number 1, introduction to business, it is important part that you should learn about the stakeholders, right? What we learned so far, needs and wants, businesses, product, characteristics of the business, aims of the business. Today we learn uh, stakeholders, right? Stakeholders, right? Uh, then it is time to move to the new subtopic. New subtopic, right? What is the next topic? New subtopic. We have given you to the tudes. Look at your tudes, right? Next topic is we can say functions of business and business activities. Next subtopics. As a business studies student, you should have knowledge about the functions of the business and business activities, right? Business have varied functions, right? Business can be viewed as a system, right? As there are many functions which should be performed simultaneously in order to accomplish the aims of the business. Right? All the sections or parts of the business system can be identified as functions, right? In the other hand, business system is itself a part of a microeconomic system, which consists of the aspect of economic, social, and political spaces, right? Generally, part of business system, business function can be classified as follows, right? What are the classifications, right? Business functions. Business do some activities, right? When we consider the activities, we can classify, right? Business activities, right? Functions of business. First one, production, operations, right? Main functions of the business we can identify: production, operation, production. Number 2, finance. Number 3, marketing. Number 4, human resource management, HR, human resource, right? Functions of the business, human resource, right? Then administration. Number 5, administration. Number 6, research and development. Research and development. 6, then 7, information management. Information management. Information management. You can see functions of the business, right? What are the main functions of the business is production, finance, marketing, HRM, administration, research and development, and information management, right? Those are the 7 functions of the business. Now, we briefly discuss all the functions, right? main, production, right? Business produce good and service, right? Right? Then main function is production. Production. Business main functions is production. Production also we can categorize into uh, other parts: primary production, secondary production, uh, territory production, right? Then primary production is agriculture. Secondary production, industries. Territory production is services, right? Services. We can say production. Business produce goods and services to satisfy human needs and wants. Then main business activities is production operations. We can say operation also. Operation, right? Operation. Then production also can be explained under the three heads. What are they? Primary, secondary, territory. Primary is agriculture. Agriculture. Secondary, industries. Territory means services, right? You can see that functions of business. First one, production operations, right? It can be discussed under three heads: primary production, secondary production, tertiary production. That means agriculture, industries, and services, right? Okay, then we move to the finance. Finance means, what is the finance? Managing money in the business, recording transaction, documentation, analysis, controlling business performance, and finance status. We can say finance functions, right? Very easy. Then marketing, right? Now business has to act in very competitive environment, right? Then marketing has the vital function of the business in present. Focus on of the identify the human needs and wants, right? And fulfill them. Marketing, production, right? Then marketing function do the sales and promotion of the product, right? In a competition environment, right? Therefore, very important role play in marketing function, right? Then personal or HR, personal or human resources, right? You know, uh, people, in the business organization is what group of people work together to achieve the common objective. Then key elements is people, person, human. Therefore, human resource management is the key functions of the business, right? This is the management of people or workers, we can say, right? Attractions of employees, selection, training, appraisal, welfare, health, safety, remunerations, allowances, handling the disputes, yet come under these sections, right? HR, right? HRM also the very important functions of the business, right? HRM. Then administrations, right? Maintaining the business related documents, communications, right? Etc. We can say as an administration function, right? Administration function, right? Then next one, research and development. What is the research and development? Business has to survive if the business introduce new good and service to the market, creative good and service to the market, right? Therefore, business has to research, continuous research and development of the business activities, right? Various research activities undertaken to improve the quality of the product. Business has to improve the quality of the product, introduction to new product and service to the market, right? Therefore, research and development is very important for survival, future survival, right? Future competitions, you have to prepare at present. Then research and development functions do the various research activities regarding the customer needs and wants, product development, new product introduction, improving the product quality, right? New creative way to satisfy the human needs and wants, do the research and development function, right? Then information management is new thing. This can be named as a management of information system, right? Collecting data, information, processing data, storage information, utilization information, update of information done by the information management, right? This is very important. Therefore, learning is this also very important. What are the functions of business? Production operations, finance, marketing, human resource management, administration, research and development, information management. Very easy, right? Understand and identify these things, right? These are very important. You to do exam, right? This will be tested by the exam, right? MCQ questions, especially in the case studies, they given this type of, they test this type of knowledge, right? Okay, we move to next one. Right, next topic is, right, functions of the business we completed now. The next one is activities of the business. Activities of the business. What are the activities of the business? Functions, then activities. Business activity. What are the activities of the business? Right. Right. What are the activities of the business? We can say business activities are any events that are undertaken by a corporation of the purpose of earning a profit. Right? Business is an organization. Right? Group of people together work to achieve the common goal. Right? Then business activities are any events that are undertaken by a corporation for a purpose of earning profit. All those business activities can be categorized under three major headings. We can categorize business activities into two major headings. Right? First one, we can say operating activities. Operating activities. Operating activities. Second one, operating activities. Next one, we can say major three headings. Second one, investing activities. Investing activities. Investing activities. Third one, financing activities. Financing activities. Financing activities. Under operating activities, right? There are direct related to the business providing is good and service. Those activities are directly related to the providing is good and service, right? Manufacturing, selling, transportation, advertising, distribution, storage, promoting operational activity. Under operational activities, right? We can say so many activities. What are they? Manufacturing, manufacturing, manufacturing. Then distribution, manufacturing the goods, distribution, right? Storage, storaging, storaging, selling, right? Transportation, transportation, right? Advertising and promotion, promotion, right? We can see operation activities, examples of operation activities: manufacturing, distribution, storage, selling, transportation, advertising and promotion, right? Investment activities. What are the investment activities? Buying or selling and assets or shares. Investment activities. Buying or selling what? And assets or shares. We can say it is as investing activities. Then financial activities. Financing activities. What are the financing activities? Banking, right? Payments. Anything else? Use of cash. Next one. Fundraising. Right? These are the business activities. We are talking about business activities. You can read that. Business activities, operation activities, investing activities, and financing activities. What are the operating activities? Right. Manufacturing, distribution, storage, selling, transportation, advertising and promotion. Right. Investing activities, buying or selling, and assets or shares. Financial activities, banking, payment, use of cash, fundraising. Right. Those are the main business activities. Right. Main business activities. Then business functions and also business activities we learn to. Right. It's a very important. This introduction to business section. We have to get the good knowledge about this, what business doing, business activities, operation activities. These are the operating activities: manufacturing, distribution, storage, selling, transportation, advertising and promotion. These are the business activities that business doing. And also investment activities: buying or selling and assets or shares. Buying or selling assets or shares. Then financial activities: banking, payment, use of cash, fundraising. Right. All the activities we can divide into 3 categories. Under each category, subcategories we identify. Right. Okay. Then we move to next one. Right. We move to next one. Okay. Read your tute, and get the idea about the business functions and business activities. Okay. Then today we completed the very important subtopics uh, about the business studies, right? Characteristics of the business, right? Aims of the business, stakeholders of the business, and also business functions and business activities, right? These are very important, right? Uh, when we move to the next topics, this fundamental knowledge is required to you. That's why chapter 1, we discuss these things, right? Then we have another very important topic next day, classification of businesses, right? Classification of businesses also very important uh, as a beginner of this subject, right? Uh, as a summary, we learned today characteristics of business and aims of business. We learn stakeholders of the business. Then we discuss business functions. Then business activities. Today we cover 5 subtopics, right? Read your notes, get the idea about this. These are not much difficult to you. Anyway, get the idea about that. Keep in mind these topics and also subject matters, right? It will help you to answer in this case study uh, questions, MCQs, right? Very important, right? Very important. Under the today mainly discuss the stakeholders of the business and also business functions and activities, right? Business functions and activities, right? Functions and activities, right? As a summary, we're talking about the characteristics of the business, right? Aims of the business, right? Once again, I will briefly explain these things as a summary. What are the characteristics of the business, right? Right? Characteristics of the business, economic activity, right? Here, sales and transfer of or exchange, continuous process, profit motive, risks and uncertainties, creative and dynamic, satisfaction of customers, social institution, government control, right? Optimum use of resources. Under these characteristics of the business we talking about, right? Then we talking about the uh, aims of the business. What are the aims of the business, right? Right? What are the aims of the business? Can you remember? Survival, right? Here, survival, right? Profit maximization, profit satisfaction, profit satisfying, right? Market entry, sales maximization, right? Increase in market share, right? Improving the sales turnover, increase in market share, right? Then growth. Under this we discuss, right? Then we move to the stakeholders. Stakeholders we deeply discuss today, right? And also importance of the stakeholders, many stakeholders, no? uh, internal, external stakeholders, primary, secondary stakeholders, right? We discuss, right? Direct and indirect stakeholders, we deeply discuss today. Then we move to the, as a summary, Next, we discuss this. What is this? Discuss functions of the business. Business functions. Discuss production, operation, right? Finance, marketing, and personal and human resource. We discuss here, right? Deeply discuss. Then, uh, marketing, personnel, administration, human resource, research and development, information management. We discuss here under this topic. Then business activities. What are the business activities? We identify three major business activities: operating activities, investment activities, and financial activities. Under operation activities, right? Then investing activities. Then we discuss financing activities. Financing activities, operational activities, operating activities, investing activities, and financing activities. Under operating activities, what we discuss: manufacturing, distribution, storage, selling, transportation, promotion, advertising, operational activities of the business. Very easy. Then investment activities. Under investment activities, we're talking about the buying and selling and assets or shares. Invest, operating. Under operating activities, we discuss the normal operation activities of the business. What are the manufacturing, distribution, storage, promotion, selling, transportation, advertising, right? Normal operating of the businesses. Then investing activity. Under investing activities, we talking about the buying or selling and assets or shares. Investing activities, right? Then financing activities. What are the financing activities? We discuss today: banking, use of cash, payment, funding. Right? In future, we detail discuss about the activities of the business and also functions of the business. Today, we learn only the introduction parts, right? Briefly get idea about the functions of business and also activities of the business, right? The next chapter, we in detail discuss about the functions of business, right? Another, right? Finance, marketing, HRM, right? We have separate chapters for that, separate subtopics for information management, research and development. We have separate chapters for discuss these functions. Today, what we learn, get the brief idea about the functions of business and also activities also of the business also. You can see that operation activities also we deeply discuss in future. Investing activities, very important. We deeply discuss in future lessons, right? And also financing activities, right? Also we discuss about the discuss in future lessons, right? That's the introduction part of these functions and activities. So far we covered these uh, 5 topics: characteristics of the business, aims of the business, stakeholders of the business functions, and also business activities. I think you get the better idea about and understand about these uh, things, right? So from next day we start the discussing of the business classification of business and business environment. Uh, it's also interesting topics, right? That we can discuss. Okay, read these notes well, get the idea about that. Any question you can send messages, and also you can call me, right? All the course material given to you, then read it well. Read it well, get the idea about that. It's not much difficult to you. Easy subject, but you learn step by step, systematically. Okay, I'm going. Okay, that's all for today, and we will meet next day at the same time. Thank you very much for your active participation. Thank you. Bye.